Hello folks, slight change in plans there. It was not meant to be me introducing this episode, but as we said on the Discord server there, we're having a few tech gremlins going on. I realise it's very dark in my room, I will sort that out in just a second. But yes, tonight is much different from our usual intros. There will be no campaign episode intro recap from me tonight. Instead, we are going to recap episodes 48 through 57 and also touch on episode 1 of our Orbital Blues arc as well. So that's basically it for the intro. There's nothing witty, it's just me. I've been out in the sun all day, so I'm really hot and flustered, but we're going to be fine. We're going to chat shit for a couple of hours, so come join us, come ask your questions, do whatever you want, within reason. This is going to be another campaign 2 recap. Let's roll.
Hello.
Yo.
He made it. He made it.
I look blurry, I'll sound shit, but I'm here. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. I'm just going to brighten my room up slightly so people can actually see my face. There we go. Yeah, we're all hot and sweaty today, mate. It's summer has finally hit in the UK, or spring. We just went from winter to fucking summer, apparently.
Yeah, in a day. It absolutely has just happened. You know, we had the fire on Friday night. You know, it's been what the hell that happened over the weekend, and now it's boiling today. Like, I don't understand.
Snow tomorrow.
Very good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let's have a chill stream, shall we? I'll ask some daft questions.
Absolutely have a chill stream. First of all, because it's been a while since it's just been us three, and this is no disrespect to Tom and Bodie because they're amazing, but it's nice to have the old crew back just for an evening as well.
It's very nice. It's very weird, but yeah, you know, we've very much got used to having Tom and Bodie around, and yeah, it's been nice. But yeah, let's talk some random shit.
Indeed.
We have quite a lot of episodes to recap, actually. And when I was seeing the next episode after the last recap feels fucking ages ago. Feels like
well, if I remember rightly, I was sat on a plane watching the last recap while you were all trying to figure out who Fletch was going to be playing and whether it was going to be a bad guy, whether they were going to help, or what the fuck was going to go on. So yeah, that was fun. I remember watching that 30,000 feet up, or at least trying to. For the record, anybody that tries to stream on a plane, YouTube's the way forward, because Twitch is a bag of crap on a plane.
Yeah, you don't get any of the buffering at all. YouTube is great for that. So that is why also we are streaming to YouTube. So if anyone does want to, you can find us there as the normal time. We welcome you to come and join us. And hit that subscribe. There's a cheeky ask. Hey,
shameless plug.
Shameless plug, that's one.
Speaking of shameless plugs as well, before we do anything, I do have to give a bit of an impromptu shout out, because I've had a very, very random conversation with somebody who shares the same surname as me today, but is also a D&D nerd, I suppose we can say. So a big shout out to Nikki, and also her sort of D&D media, or I don't know what you want to call it, D&D content, which is the Mystic Quill. So you can go find them on Instagram. Some free homebrew items for you, which are cool. So yeah, I will continue to chat to Nikki as well. She's going to check out a few of the streams, and we may or may have another partnership in the planning. So there we go.
I was going to say, Danny, I think you and I need to therefore go on the Instagram and look for what cool shit we can ask Matt for. It sounds like it's our prerogative to do that, I think. I think it's a disservice if we don't. I mean...
Mystic Quill, I don't want to ruin it straight away, but a Mystic Quill sounds like a bard slang for a genitalia. Can I have a go on your Mystic Quill?
I apologise in advance, guys. Fuck me. There's that partnership straight down the toilet.
No, that's a good thing. Sex sells.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Well, to turn everyone off. Anyway. Fucking hell. Here we go. We started. Right, who wants to get started with the episode then?
So, the episode after our last recap was the one where we were fighting the shadow creatures coming out of the well in Jules' home village. That's how long ago it was, and feels.
It does feel a long time ago, doesn't it? That is quite ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, we closed off one plot arc and went into another one.
Yeah, we'd figured out M wasn't M. She was a good guy now. Boom! Straight into a battle with loads of shadowy wraiths coming out of a well, and the whole town's under siege.
Absolutely. And that was where Cavan and Mace did their whole protection of the Of Shadows family, the family of Shadows. Mr. and Mrs. Of Shadows, which has been a running joke going forward.
Yeah.
Which is cool. They had their moment as well.
Lex fucked up again because he tried to do the ritual all by himself, forgetting a few episodes back we need 3 of us to do it, and I tried to do it alone while everyone was fighting the shadows.
We need to roll back a bit. Before we even got to the ritual, there was the colossal fuck up just trying to get into the well.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic.
Yes, because we'd leveled up. I tried to be cocky and I cast Gate Seal straight off the bat, thinking I'm going to end this for 3 minutes, and it was just outside of range of the spell. So then I went down the well all cocky, and the fucking portal was still there, shit flying out, and I was like, spaff me 4th level spell for nothing.
I think you also failed the dexterity saving throw trying to do some acrobatic shit down the rope as well. Yeah, so it was a bad day for Lex all round.
He definitely ate humble pie getting into that.
100%.
Getting into that.
I'm going to have to level up. I'm going to have to multi-class into Rogue just so I can act out my stupid ideas with acrobatics.
There we go. That's the new, the future multi-class for Lex then going forward.
No, I can't do that. He's not...
I was very, very pleased that I didn't have to make any checks with Jewel just being able to climb or run down, because I think otherwise it would have been a very much comical entrance of the detective agency. But yeah, it was very cool to also work alongside Fletch and his very much one episode exposure. It was great fun working with him, and I do hope we see him and his character again.
Well, to be fair, it was a big lore drop because he's not dead, I don't think.
No, he just buggered off to another realm, just like another plane. It did exactly what we all want to do.
And he dropped, just literal mic drop as he left, said he's after Klein.
Yeah.
Just as he left. And then Edgius was like, oh, fuck. And that did send Edgius for a loop for a couple episodes.
Yes.
Oh, to be fair, another pivotal plot point in that episode was just a little insignificant thing that may not have died.
I think that also takes us possibly into the into the next
2 or 3 like a mini
overlaps into the next episode and so but I mean it was a very pivotal moment, M dying, because again we were like, okay, you're not an enemy, great, you're now on our side, this is wonderful, you're dead. That didn't go well.
Indeed, killed by the first of do I say this? Yeah, I'll let this out. The first of a breed of homebrew creatures that could potentially plague you in these planar incursions is all I'm going to say. So I think I said at the time that creature was called a Void Elemental.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun creating that creature.
Yeah.
Why am I always naive to think, well, we've vanquished them, we'll never see them again? And then there's probably at least 10 episodes in my future where they'll nearly kill us.
Yeah.
Because Matt's not going to create a Void Elemental for a one-shot deal, is it?
No. Absolutely
That's not going to happen.
Absolutely not. No. But it's been a lot of fun. I feel like we did that with the planar portal, and then we've been in a totally different path since then for a while. Because the episode following, yes, there was the whole mini arc, if you like, within Stonebark Village. Almost forgot the name of the fucking village then. Where, okay, we need to deal with the Crystal, we need to deal with Mayanora, we need to deal with Paige and Dream and Bronze, and Edgius needs to go do his thing, which we'll touch all on as we go through this recap. But there was just a whole bunch of stuff that then happened from this single point before we all came back together again.
And the Star Touch Crystal shattered into pieces, and then we all had our own little... Well, we all had to bond with it in our own way and figure out how that worked for us individually and as a group.
Yeah, so I think from my point of view on that, because it's not something I've seen before, I don't think, in any campaigns I've watched, like a group attuned item. How are we feeling about that?
I like it. I don't think we've, and I think this is fine. We haven't utilised it properly at all. But again, we haven't had the opportunity, and also it is just one of those things of like we're scratching the surface as to what it currently can do. I mean, there's some items that have been given to the characters that I think I won't be alone in saying that Jewel has barely touched her special abilities. So all of those things combined, yes, loving it. We also did find
had the opportunity for those abilities.
No, we haven't. We haven't at all. And
lost your
Danny's
audio
gone.
there, Danny.
We can't hear you, mate. While we're trying to get Danny back,
I was going to say,
we did obviously, so not obviously, because obviously if anyone hasn't been keeping up, we did get one particular section of what this crystal can do, ability, that's the word I'm looking for, and we have run with it in such a comical way.
We took the piss with it. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yes, we can hear you now.
That's exactly what I was saying, Dave. I was like, we took the piss with it, the emotional connection, we rode it, and we did the joke. But I think what we did, we picked a good point where the joke had run its course.
Yes,
all good.
We teased it
comedy
about,
gold is.
Was it last week before, something like that? Basically, very recent, where we went, okay, this has been fun, and we will continue to use it, but in a hopefully more productive manner.
But to be fair,
but you also started to use that ability
to sense each
to
other.
your advantage.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when Cavan went missing in a few episodes' time. But also, you're right, we haven't had the opportunity to use its powers yet, because I suppose storyline-wise and roleplay-wise, it's not come up. So opening and closing portals that we can do with it, that hasn't come up yet. We've joked about doing it, but it's not really come up. Then there's one where we can sense celestials and on the planes and stuff, or find stars and celestials, but we haven't had to do that yet, although we might need to, because we've got Paragon and we've got Nimue, the moon goddess, so we might want to do that at some point, or Kronos, or this demon. No, she's not a celestial, she'll be a bad guy. But then its other power,
I mean, you can still get bad celestials.
Touche. And then its other power is if we attune to it, and we can give ourselves increased magical powers for 24 hours, which basically means we get an extra spell slot at each level. So for Jewel, will that be an extra Misty Step? Maybe?
I was literally just going to look into whether it's specific for me or not, because I technically, I'd either get an extra Misty Step. But I'm going to...
I mean, if we've not called that out, then yes, we will.
Yeah, you get advantage on Arcana checks or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'll tweak the item. It's, as I say, that could be a work in progress. I don't mind because it's the first. As I
I'll
say,
have
I've
your
never
share of the
homebrewed
power. No problem. I'll take it.
I have never homebrewed a group item quite like that before, so it's interesting.
I mean, there's also the other point. Yes, again, I guess here I technically have 2 slots for Misty Step, so I technically have a spells tab. But also maybe it's in that thing of not everyone can use it, or do you know what I mean? Like it's not the end of the world because again, there's no point at getting a spell slot. So it may well be that it's that's one thing that Jewel doesn't benefit from. Because Lord knows what's going to happen to her down the road. We've always said that we will let the RP run our choices on multiclassing. So, you don't know. Maybe it is left as it is. Anyway,
let's talk about Fletch a bit more as well, because there's a lot more in that character that we sort of glossed over very quickly there.
I loved the interaction between Jewel and I can't remember Fletcher's character's name.
Neither can I now. You've said it, and it's going to kill me.
So I'm gonna look it up. But it was fabulous because there was no time for chit chat when we had to jump in and just get this stuff done. And that was when a lovely immediate interaction of hopefully we're not going to be killing each other here. Yeah, okay, cool, let's move. And that was all we could do. So it was
Ottoman.
Fabulous. Ottoman, of course it was.
Ottoman, son of Rigman.
And yeah, working again with Fletch. It's always great to get guys in. We have always found it fun working with Extra Equal, with new people. So yeah, it was really good fun.
It was good. Interesting introducing a full paladin into the party as well,
yes,
as opposed to just Mace who dicks around doing fuck all really. But I think Danny's just having a few more technical gremlins there, so we'll bear with him, and he will return when he can. So yeah, very, very interesting having a paladin join, and we saw some of those smites coming out, which are really interesting in combat, really augmented your combat as well.
Yes.
But I think for me it's that final piece, his final line, which really fucked Bodhi up for a good couple of weeks, I think, both in game and out of game.
Yes.
This whole come with me if you want to find the King Killer. His connection to the Raven Queen as well. So there was a lot there which got dropped in, I think, a space of about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then, boof, gone. Lost to the ether in the Shadowfell somewhere, as that's what you discovered where that portal went to. Things starting to
we've got a number of allies in different planes now, and it's very interesting, that we are on our own little path right now, but very soon we'll be back onto the main arc of, right, now where do we go? And I'm very much looking forward to that being a very fun decision. Do we start going to other planes where none of us are going to have a clue? Not that changes much, to be honest, but...
Well, you have been pretty much commanded by a Fey Lord to go and find a Fey portal.
Yep.
And keep it fucking open. So yeah, there's that. And that's the only way you're getting Callum back, apparently.
Well, we might try and backdoor it, but
Interesting. So then one for you, still on that episode, or the episode after then.
Yes.
Because Jewel, in her journey, had spent so long going, I'm going to find M and I'm going to kill them, basically.
Yeah.
For everything they have done to me, to Lex, to the party, to fuck up our lives in general. And then you find who you think M is. You find Mayanora, who was the receptionist way back in episode 1 or 2 of the campaign.
Yeah.
Turns out she's a blood witch, which, thank you, Cobalt Press.
Yeah.
There was a combination of Cobalt Press and some homebrew stuff I was working on there, which I think their book, Deep Magic, landed just as I was writing that homebrew class, so I thought, you know what, let's merge. So yeah, that, obviously, she then appears, your mum's really friendly with her, and then she dies, defending the village. So how's Jewel after that?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster of emotions for sure, because it's, you know, sort of that elation of we found you, but also that, you know, scared of it. You know, we knew that she was a formidable person, regardless of whether she was on our side or not, and of course we believed not. So it was going to be scary. Then, of course, there was so how the hell have you bewitched my family? Because this is not okay. This is not correct. To then find out that that's not the case, then it's like, well, I can't just flip this switch and like her, so what the hell? And this all happens in a very, very short amount of time. I know that there was that hour or so in game, in essence, where they're all just chatting and trying to work out and be like, okay, basically everyone probably going through those 5 stages of almost grief, really, of, you know, trying to accept what's happening and the fact that actually we've been chasing the wrong person all this time. You know, it's just a very, very, big bag of emotions. Then, yeah, she dies. Like, is that then the Planar detective agency's fault? Did Jewel put that on her? You know, is she suddenly feeling that she should have done something else? You know, were we not powerful enough again to not save an ally? All very, very interesting. However, it brought everyone together afterwards. So the acceptance then, the drive it gave the party, and the reconnection with them all. Yes, of course, Aegis did shoot off, understandably. But regardless, the rest of them pulled together, and Aegis, being Aegis, was able to bring back into the party as soon as we joined up again, because we really did need to connect through the crystal, but as well as, you know, emotionally, and go, this is a real fight that we have to get through. People are going to die. Accept that. That it's getting real close to home, especially for Jewel. And of course, she's very glad that they're moving away now. I think probably one of the things that helped them out massively was we've closed this portal, and we have now completed what she left for. However,
left a huge hulking paladin behind to protect them.
Yes, definitely helped. The fact that May stayed was a real weight off her shoulders. And again, in that year that she'd left, she just left with her parents being her parents. To come back to find that they were fairly formidable in their own right, people, powerful individuals, which we've only really been told, we don't really know, but we got the impression of. It really again opened up Jewel's eyes to her naivety, but again to that thing of going, okay, you know, let's continue to grow. The village is probably in a much safer place, in safe hands. To also know that their connection to Union City, which we haven't really covered yet, not that it may not even come up, we don't know, but we just have to see if that's going to be a thing that they, you know, that does come up. But yeah, that I then think led nicely, not only for Aegis going to Union City, but then to have that there is some sort of connection did leave us to then move on once we'd had...
Yeah, I feel like we got to a place where all roads lead to Union City. Because it's where Cavan came from. It's his home city.
Yep.
Aegis spent a lot of time there as a detective. Your family has some history there. The only real connection we were lacking was Lex.
Yes.
Which, not a problem. Not everybody needs to sort of... Lex is in this weird space at the minute where he's kind of on the right path, doing what he needs to do. Closed a portal for the first time ever successfully with a group.
Yeah. The
Lex
first one was
has also been on this emotional journey. Well, the first one was a total fuck up because nobody knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
And it took a while to understand that actually we were healing this portal more towards the wrong dial as opposed to one way or another.
Which I think we've both found is very... I was going to say it's a useful or interesting mechanic, which I suppose it technically is, but it totally makes sense that in someone corrupting it, you're going to have two ends of a dial, and we found it somewhere in the middle. So, very, very interesting that we may find the ways of being able to manipulate that to our own, wants. Maybe we will find
it was my way of introducing some form of race condition into the portal structure, if you like. If you've got two connections trying to be made, only one of them's going to get through. So it was interesting. But as I say, Lex has been on this emotional journey as well. So with the Star Touch Crystal, has now got to the stage where it's a case of, I don't need to meditate anymore. I'm a master of my own emotions at this point. I have reached that level of emotional intelligence and maturity. That I don't need to hold anything back. I can just be myself. And we have seen Lex properly relax into that over the last few episodes. I think there's been some hysterical moments from Lex. It allows Danny to be a bit more Danny as well, which is cool, while also still being the straight-laced individual that Lex is. So yeah, really, really interesting. I think Jewel, there's still more for us to unpack with Jewel as well, and her history and the family history, anything which might shape what happens with Jewel as we go forward.
The thing is, the way I am also trying to play Jewel quite carefully is that she is a young woman on a path travelling. She's completed the reason why she initially left, but of course in that time has realised that she's connected quite succinctly with this group and on another path. But the point is that she was real close to breaking down, and she healed with the time passing with the memorial, and only I think due to having strong friends and strong family around. But there's no reason why she's not just suddenly okay.
And we've probably seen some of that in the latest episode as well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely swerved her to something that is not in her normal character. And again, we'll get to that because I think it's very interesting. So yeah, it was quite the roller coaster with all of that, and I think then getting out to Union City has really opened up the further opportunities for the group, but has been it's been really great fun to see how they all work again with that new ability of the emotions, which was hilarious at the start. I have to say we all had a riot with that one, but then finding that Aegis is going down this path of self-help, of healing, of self-improvement was very interesting. And then to have Cavern's history come up really was fascinating. Really fascinating to me. And
I think my favourite NPC interactions so far this campaign, I've said it on social media, and we're taking a little bit of a jump, but we will come back. The Cavern and Mara dynamic is stunning. I have never shipped two characters before so hard, and I created one of them, but fuck me, Tom ran with it and has made it such a relationship now. Just little things that happen on the fly, like that is all born out of one comment that I think Bodhi made as Edgius to Tom, saying, "Didn't you and Mara have a thing?" And in the episode, I am retyping Mara's backstory. Very quickly building on that one, just because I was like, no, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, Cavan's history is definitely at the fore right now, and we're sort of working through that. I think going back, there is that... we sort of had the dual moments with her family, but also Cavan, and this ties into where we end up in Union City, is Cavan's never really experienced family.
Yes.
And so Mama Dream and Papa Page, just that whole dynamic between the three of them.
Yeah. Do you know what? It was Jules' home village, so I knew that when we on the lead up to that, a lot was going to land on my shoulders. It's Jules' place. She can't just be quiet the whole time. It's going to be a lot. But to be able to sit back at times and see Cavan, played by Tom, really find that he'd found a family there as well, that he was able to open that side. Cavan was a very angry individual who just wanted to move to the next goal because he wanted to be on the move, and he wasn't okay until he was just, where's our next goal, where's our next target. To see that completely flip, and almost he was ready to sit back on the front porch in a swinging armchair and watch the time goes by, was fantastic to see. And again, why I don't think we would have seen anything like that between him and what's her name? But yeah, so when we get to Union City, we wouldn't have seen any of this like relationship bring back up, because I think it would have been too locked down. So yeah, to sit back at those episodes when I quite frankly needed a breather, and to watch Cavan go through this chat and open up to Jules' mum and dad was absolutely fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I do massively love about Tom as a player is his ability to, like, Cavan's existed for 20 odd episodes now.
Yeah.
And every week Tom brings a little bit more of Cavan.
Yeah.
Every week. So he's properly in the mindset. And Tom will tell you as a player, combat, he'll get interested. He's not interested in min-maxing at all. He is all about roleplay and bringing out the character. So those moments where you can just see this scared little boy in a hulking barbarian of a man just come out in those roleplay moments. They're fantastic. I love them. I think
you'll probably find that a lot of people also in adulthood in general can just relate to that, because there's so many memes of, they don't give you a rule book, and we feel exactly the same as we are when we're kids, going, but all we have to do is people give us responsibility, and we're like, I didn't want this. So we all get how Cavan feels, which I find really interesting.
So I think we've just decided there that Cavan is all of us.
Yes.
Cavan is the definition of the human experience as we go through it right now. So, fantastic. What a fucking philosophical statement to make there, Dave. 8:20 on a Monday evening. Amazing.
There it is, folks.
So, yeah, I think that definitely sparks a bit of a new journey in Cavan as well, as we were sort of saying. And then you've got Edgius's journey as well, to go and sort of realise that there's a sword master in Union City, and sort of told by Paige that if you really want a sword, or if you want to learn the ways of the sword, this is who you need to go to.
Yeah.
And the mystical journey to get to the top of the mountains, really funny. Introduced a new... I don't think she was meant as a romantic interest for Edgius at the time, but very quickly became something of that. So there's a weird dynamic between those two now. But introducing Takami as sort of the... in my note, she is down as the guardian of Kumario.
Yeah.
So she is one of the four martial artists, and when I say four, I don't mean four as in the number. I mean she's one of those at the front, one of the champions of Kumario, if you like.
The forefront,
escorting. At the forefront. Yes, thank you. So she's there to sort of guide Edgius on that last bit of the journey, and then the fantastic and I won't lie, sometimes frustrating moments between Edgius and the sensei there, which is Bodhi absolutely nailing Edgius as a character as well.
I was going to say, it's Edgius to a T.
Just on the edge of being a twat.
Yeah, when it's just like... And you know, all of us want to say to Edgius, not Bodhi, stop talking.
Oh yeah.
It is very much that thing of just, you know, everyone just I loved your bits, which was like, you talk a lot, and it was just brilliant. You know, again, it was truly Edgius down to a T.
Yes, very much so. So he's now on a bit of a new journey in terms of finding balance, which is something that ties him to Lex as well now, with Lex being, within the party at least, the definition of balance. Cavan also having that moment with the Star Touch Crystal when he speaks to Paragon for the first time.
Yes.
Properly speaks to Paragon, and Paragon's all things in balance. So there's a tie between the three of those now in terms of this idea of balance.
Which again we glossed over as to why Mace also stayed, because Mace said, in short, Cavan, I've seen that you've seen Paragon, you're all good. You know,
Mace also is, we found Paragon in this place.
Yes.
So I am going to stay here.
Yes. Yeah.
Mace has got his own backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, he was dug up out of an ancient battlefield by two idiots, let's be fair.
Yeah. 100%.
Who were just barreling across a fucking battlefield like, oh look, metal leg, woo!
Yeah.
Which is why Mace also doesn't have, or missing a leg, because that went wayward.
Was Paige trying to resolve that? I can't remember now.
Paige was building a new leg, yes.
Yeah.
So we may well see Mace with some form of completed body when we revisit Stonebark Village. But yes, that then leads us into the Union City arc, I think we'll have to call it. A number of things that happened. We had a great number of sessions building up to the Masquerade Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been the majority of the arc so far, I think. But
just trying to get there was hard enough.
Mara.
Really was.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. Well, we had some great fun with some just creation and player agency in those earlier episodes of Union City, getting the moose tied up and finding a guard, Cavan speaking to a priest and immediately headbutting him, and everybody feeling that rage going through Cavan. That in itself sparked what happens later on. And then heading towards the Jarl's Hearth, where I think every one of you created something for that inn, which I did not have planned at all. So we had, what was it, the Food Fighters, or Earth, Wind and Lyre was the other one, which came up as bardic troop names. So yes, one or both of those will be used again, because fantastic. And then Mara. And I'll let you describe your thoughts of Mara as you first thought, or first met her, I should say.
There was, for Jewel, and I think this has probably been quite, you know, it definitely needs to be impressed upon in the fact that when you manage to catch us off guard, and I don't want to sound arrogant there, but because we get caught off guard all the time, to be honest, but I think to them it felt like you've managed to catch us by surprise where we are at, you know, at our own hold up, but then to have such immediate command of the room without it being oppressive was incredible. And I think again it came across in the episode, Jules, content is the wrong word, but just like admiration for her.
Respect.
Yeah. In the right way, not in a bow down to you. It's just true proper respect for this person who was the leader of her family and therefore for a great portion of this city. Was really good. And yes, obviously we had some very epic and awkward moments between Gavin, but it didn't matter because she commanded respect in such a calm way, which was just came across really well, and why we have just immediately gelled into let's do this, because we want to work with them.
Absolutely, I think she's by far one of my favourite NPCs that we've sort of introduced into this world, and that's been based off of those changes that happened in the moment sort of thing. Like Mara existed. Mara always existed as this being, this entity that would be there, and she was always going to be the proprietor of the Masquerade Ball. But then there's a few little changes that are made in game by passing comments, which I suppose if there's any DMs out there, those are the moments to drop in on. Like any of your players make little comments like that where you think we could make something out of that, run with it, because it's the easiest bit of world building I've ever done in my life. She is fantastic as a character though.
Absolutely. I mean, put it this way, both Lex and Jewel have grown since they met the mages, and especially the Archmage. Of course they have reverence for this incredibly powerful individual, but a connection? No. And to a degree, they probably, certainly Jewel probably feels a bit more, different levels to them. But there's no connection. Apart from the fact that they're on our side, happy days. But then to connect with Mara so much more, I think just shows the strength and depth of that character in them meeting up and just immediately connecting, and as you say, having so much more depth to that character as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think she sets you all on a bit of a new path, which is this Masquerade Ball that's going to happen, and she is the mistress of intelligence. She is the head of the intelligence organisation within Union City, and there's some rumours about something's going to happen at the ball. She doesn't know what, but there's been a threat made to the ball itself, and very, very vague on any details whatsoever.
Well, you got the impression also that they're not... that's not them being vague to be vague. Yes, of course they are. Information is their power. So of course there's every opportunity that we would think, oh well, they're just holding it from us. We didn't get that impression. Maybe they were holding it, but we didn't get that impression that they were holding back on anything that was actually pertinent to that. So it was therefore impressed upon us how important it was that they didn't know what was going on, and there were also things that happened after the ball, which we will come to, that also again impresses upon how dangerous the situation's got, that Mara doesn't know stuff. So it became very important, very clear that there was a lot at stake, which is why, as much as it feels like it is another mini arc, another side mission, so to speak, but there was a lot riding behind it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you're right in there that it raised the stakes that little bit higher, in the fact that it's not that she doesn't want to tell you, she can't, because she doesn't know. Yeah. So she's trusting 4 strangers, 3 strangers, or 2.5 strangers, we should say, and that's based on the relationship with Kevin as well. Yeah. It's very much we've got a thing, whether you choose to admit it or not. There is something. To see
Kevin wriggling in that was just awesome.
I think there's an element with her though where it's almost the Romeo and Juliet story without the death at the end, because two different worlds, from 2 totally different worlds, the noble and the layman, so to speak, the commoner, the orphan.
Yeah.
There's expectations of her up here, and almost no expectations of Kevin whatsoever.
Yeah.
So for those two to come together and have this moment in their past and then revisit that, And I think there's the conversation where they have where Cavan turns around and says, "The last time I was here, you didn't want this." And she totally changes her tune.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was wrong. You were wrong in that moment as well. I did want this, but there wasn't enough fight there. So it became this sort of weird, seedy, sexual tension moment into what has ultimately become a little bit more of a love story, and I'm all for it, I won't lie. But she sets you on that path because of that connection, and there's then the planning moments, which are brilliant. So let's go get a suit and all our dresses made and everything like that, and we'll go walk into these different shops where, again, player agency and the bits where honestly, you've all upped your game so much. I've never had to think so much on the fly as a DM in session. Like, I have to be on the ball all the time now. Because you guys will just be like, oh yeah, we'll go into here where this individual is. Oh, fucking we are we? Is that who it is?
Which again, I know stems from that backstory of... again, I know that I have a lot to learn on this one as well. Again, I was sort of deer in headlights when we were at Jules Village. With Edgius and Cavan having been... from Union City or spent a decent time there, they can do that to keep the world alive. It'll be very interesting, because we wouldn't just randomly be like, oh, we know this place in a random city we've never been to, so we will have those nuances. But yeah, the fact that they've been there, it's like, of course, it makes total sense. Which I will also say, again, so for anyone out there playing their own games, DMs and all that lot, that has come from the communication between all of the players and DM, chatting about the DM's not the only one who world builds. It takes a second to think about that, and definitely some time to find the crossover to a degree. But I think it works.
As a player, it's difficult to flex that muscle sometimes as well.
Yes.
I mean, the reason Bodhi's so good at it is because he is also a DM.
Yes.
I'll throw that in straight away. He's already got that muscle that he flexes quite regularly. For everybody else, when you've just been a forever player and you've never branched into the world of I need to create stuff or I'm a DM, it becomes that little bit harder.
Yeah.
But it's something to absolutely flex. If you want to help your DM out, but also if you want to feel like you're part of the world more, that is exactly it. And we did that with Stonebart Village. I think I just turned around and said to Dave, take it away.
So I mean, the great thing was months before I'd already decided that I was going to find some art online that matched what I was thinking in my head. I can't draw for shit, so I was I'm just going to go and find some images online. I'm gonna therefore just find something that matches what I'm going to send it off to Matt, because that's the best way of me being able to translate how it looks. And then they were my references to how to describe it. And what was even funnier was I hadn't even thought about, don't know why I hadn't thought about this, I hadn't even thought about what is Jules' home going to look like inside. And yet on the spot, just immediately was able to be okay, this is what's in my head. And I hadn't realised that I'd already daydreamed it. Pretty much. Subconsciously just gone, I know what this place looks like. And that was really cool because, yes, I was able to then say, this is what it looks like. And it is nice because then there is a little bit of that pocket where, I've brought that and that's how that looks. But it's great. It again,
great.
For any DM out there, do that with your players. They will feel very much involved. Give them a bit of warning, because again, if they're like me, I'm deer in headlights and I'm like, but actually I did enjoy it once I got it.
Sometimes those deer in headlight moments can come up with absolute gems.
Absolute bangers sometimes.
But no, I agree. Don't throw your players under the bus by you're going to design this whole city now. Yeah.
tell me the 20 people you know in the city now.
Yeah, and I think we've said this before. Celeste Conowitch is a great DM who does this as part of the Venture Maidens stream. She will go, you walk into a forest, and what do you see?
Yes.
It's amazing. So, for advice for any other DMs out there, those are the moments to pick, not you walk into this city that's Minas Tirith, what do you see? And everybody just goes, a giant statue of some huge prick, I don't know.
Yeah, so, exactly. It's difficult. But that does lead us into a good question we have had. What is what have been your biggest inspirations when it comes to world building?
Yeah, there's a question.
Because again, so for instance, I mean, I'm just going to go. Well, my again, that tiny little bit I did, I obviously had to think about, again, Jules' backstory. What have they got? I wasn't going to put. Well, I mean, I could have had that choice, but it says a lot as to what the buildings were made of. As simply as that, do you know what I mean? So I was building my information for my backstory. You've got a whole world to do. So then it's okay. So where do those bits come from? And
I mean, the first thing on that is the world is definitely not complete. We may have locations on the map, doesn't necessarily mean they're fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
With some locations, I've drawn inspiration from different areas. So where we started for Campaign 2 was very much ancient Greece. So I was pulling on things from the Odyssey and Homer and those different Greek tragedy type influences to create that little bit of the world. Granted, the story at that point isn't like a Greek tragedy, although I suppose you could probably get to the stage where we are almost in that stage. But just the design of that area was very much, sort of ancient Greece. And then Zumkar was okay, Arabian Nights, let's build on that. What's the perfect desert world setting right now? If you want to go sci-fi, you're going to go Dune or something like that, but this is medieval fantasy, so what can we touch on? Arabian Nights. I also think at the time that my kids were watching Aladdin, so I probably got a load of shit from that. But by far my biggest influences are stereotypical and very cliche, but Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
For anybody that's doing D&D fantasy, I think you'll always touch on Lord of the Rings.
But that was I think that's what's really nice is though you do of course have that basis and very much I think it is a very sensible place to fall back on. But the fact that you added a bit of Arabian Nights, a bit of ancient Greece, meant that the world is not one massive continent of all the same people. We've got different accents, we've got different architectural types. Of course, the fact that, as you just said there, you haven't slapped wooden buildings in the middle of a desert. You haven't slapped. We weren't going to slap stone, city-high tall towers in a forest. These are the types of things where I find that it's almost so obvious when you do end up describing it that we go, well, of course that's what it would look like, and that I think is because it's not jarring is why it's so good.
So and I think on that note, where in the forest, for example, and how the elves build things, for anybody that's read the Inheritance Cycle. So a lot of my stuff comes from the books I read, generally. Occasionally a film that I'll watch or a TV series that I'm watching, but to be honest, it's mostly the books that I read. So Eragon, Brisinga, I forget the name of the other books because I just remember it's the Inheritance Cycle, but Christopher Paolini's books, he talks about how the elves sing things into being. So I was very much like, that's cool, so we're going to sing the buildings from the trees. And we touched on this when we went to Phaliad in Campaign 1, which is very much, I'm going to sing a bow from this tree. And it's going to be the most beautifully crafted bow you'll ever see. And this is why elven artistry is so fantastic, because they literally sing things from nature around them. So that's where I touched on that. Union City is very much... that is as pure Lord of the Rings as we'll probably get, because it's that tiered Minas Tirith type city, but I've made it slightly different because I bring in the cultures from different parts of the world. I think the only other region that I've fully fleshed out in terms of this is the feel is then the Juvund region,
which is very Nordic.
It's the Norse Viking feel. So that is based on stuff I've watched in terms of like Vikings and those sorts of TV series. The Kingdom, Game of Thrones, a little bit thrown into there as well. Yeah. But yes, I think what's the other one that's... it's the obvious.
Go on.
Which is Death.
Yes.
That is based on our favourite books.
The Abhorsen books, absolutely fantastic.
Which is something of a little bit of my gift to you in this world as well, because I knew you would cotton to that straight away.
I mean, the second it came in campaign 1, I nearly fell off my seat because I was just like, this is it. I think immediately went back and started listening to the books. Very much an audiobook man, but yeah, I was immediately like, I absolutely love the way that this world is. So to have that little piece is wonderful. To pull the magic from that side was an entirely possible mini series, like to run the magic the way they do, but in the realms of being able to pull in Death to this setting is wonderful. Really cool.
Yeah, it's like that Dante's poem of the... I mean, you've already got the Nine Hells anyway, which is from Dante's poem, so then to have that sort of reflected then in Death kind of matched up for me. And who knows, maybe I'll take it into the heavens as well, so we have 9 different realms of heaven, which I think would be an interesting concept. Yeah, I think the only other then source...
I mean, you've got to pull that for the Nordic, the Dunmar
Valhalla
area.
And stuff like that. Yeah,
the 9 realms. You've got to pull that forward. Yeah.
Fair one. Yeah, we'll bring in the whole Norse history there. And Norse mythology. But yeah, I think the other theme is then, because we all know how much I love the Feywild, and everything Fey, and that is based on my love of a little bit left field, but the Merry Gentry novels, who Laurel K. Hamilton does an amazing job of talking about the courts, and some of the characters and the Fey Lords that we have are plucked almost directly out of those books and just changed for our world.
As the Feywild is, it's a place that doesn't make sense. And that's why I love the fact that the Lords also, we can't wrap our heads around. We're like, are you on the tier of God? Are you on the tier of demigod? Are you on the tier of very powerful wizard? Do you know what, honestly, and intentionally, they are those ones of going, well, you'll never know. And it's great, because that's the point. Like, they're, as much as they all have their own personalities, they all have that underlying, not necessarily mischievous, but it almost is. Like, you can still have, like, the Lord of Winter is still mischievous in his own way, even though he's a grumpy mofo. He does that in a mischievous way, in that, the last time we saw him, he was almost like a very powerful angry toddler, and it's just so interesting the way that works, because you're going, yeah, well, all right, but we have no choice other than to follow your demands, so to speak.
I mean, that probably makes sense if you look at some of his names as well, and the different names that people have given him. So you've got the Lord of Winter, you've got Jack Frost, which just put those two together, and you've got that angry toddler. Exactly.
So but yes, but it's so great the way that we can get that from these characters, these individuals. So yes, that was one hell of a tangent. But yes, the world building side. So yes, some great inspiration that you get there, and I think that's very apt. I certainly have no issue imagining where we are from your description. So well done.
I think I quite like that it's not one big, I don't want to say rip-off, but one big sort of one big inspiration.
Yes.
There's not, okay, Lord of the Rings is that backbone, but that's almost D&D anyway.
Yep.
And I do read some of the newer source books just for inspiration from WotC and some of the Critical Role stuff, Kobold Press stuff. That feeds into, excuse me, when we're building the world as well. But yeah, generally all these different... I mean, and as we've found out from our chat in the last few weeks, I've been reading a lot of Lovecraft. So we're all fucked going forward.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, no, it is nice. I guess that's like, one thing that you wouldn't get from Lord of the Rings, but I would totally expect to see, or not expect to, but would have no issue in seeing in the fantasy realms that we're in, is we would end up in a place where there were floating islands, and we no idea why, but they exist. You know what I mean? So that's the type of thing that, yeah, you can do it, because why not? We can go where... And we probably will, especially in other planes. I suppose the astral plane has got that,
Oh yeah,
droves.
When we properly go into the different planes, if we properly go into the different planes, they have their whole... There's physics are a whole different thing there.
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely.
That would be very interesting.
But yeah, so then, with all of our shenanigans of going to the shops and everything and getting everything sorted, we then got ourselves ready to go to this ball. Now I have to say, I don't know about the other characters, but I think that was the first time that Jewel probably was... They're on a job, so that's important, but quite uneasy at taking all of their survival supplies off them. All the things that they have been very connected to. Capes, daggers.
Oh yeah, the safety blanket went.
The safety blanket went, and it was, you've got to go in here, and you've just got to go. So it was a very interesting dynamic going there. We also had Aegeus, I think quite cleverly to a point, asking a little the little delivery kid to go to the ball. I thought that was a great idea, because we were expecting shit to go down. So can we have our quick relay, which was a very interesting thing to happen afterwards. But going to this ball, I'm sure Joel wasn't the only one to feel a little uncomfortable without everything.
Well, I think there was different levels of discomfort there, because I'm in a tight suit, which I'm not used to, or I'm in a dress, which I'm absolutely not used to.
Yep.
I don't have my daggers. I'm not necessarily going to be able to just cast spells willy-nilly. I have no idea what I'm walking into. We're also walking into a room with a bunch of fucking nobles that we know nothing about.
Yep.
So we need to go and do a little bit of research beforehand.
Yep.
And I know at some point shit's going to hit the fan. So what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
And then you've got Cavan the Orphan, who's told by Mari, you're going to be my date, and he's just there like, oh fuck. All eyes on me. Fantastic.
Which, to jump to that point, him changing his arrival announcement.
His intro, yeah.
His intro was very poignant, showing... And that may have only happened in that day, 48 hours, basically since arriving in Union City. Maybe there was some seed sown in his chatting with the family of shadows to actually go, I'm going to own who I am, and to use that as his empowerment, because to have that introduction into that ball, as we saw from some of the responses of the nobles, actually gave him some standing.
Oh, I'd say you've just triggered something in my mind there, because thinking about the 4 characters and this idea of being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
All 4 of you have gone on that journey in some way or another. Aegeus quite literally.
Yes.
Like, just being comfortable. Do you know what? I'm going to go into Union City and I'm going to stay in skeleton form. Because this is form number 1.
Yep. That's powerful, that was.
You've got it's powerful. You then got Lex, who kind of is, this is who I am, comes to terms with his emotions, unapologetic for who he is now.
Yeah.
Jewel owning that I am no longer just this rogue. There is something otherworldly to me now.
On, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of other shit going on. Yeah. But we start to see that in the later episodes.
Yes.
And then you've got Calvin, who just gets to the stage of, no, I'm not a fucking noble. And you're going to know who I am. This is me.
Yeah. It was, again, very poignant that he was, in a way, in how he said it and what he was introduced as, that he was very much calling out those nobles as it's not cool to be called a noble at a party of nobles.
Yeah. What importance is a title?
Yeah, so we saw a wealth of different characters there. Well done for the goose chases we went on when we were talking to people. The red herrings, and all those
took weeks and weeks and weeks of just trying to think, because you can make these very linear.
Yes, yeah. If you're watching this recap to catch up, then this is hopefully what it is for, and it is great. But if there's one episode I'd ask to go back is go watch The Ball, or more likely The Aftermath, because the stuff we had to work through, there was just endless tendrils that we were pulling threads on, so fair play, Matt, for making all these like red herrings.
Thank you.
Because
I think that's great. Episode 54 and 55.
Yeah.
Maybe 53 as well. But yes, introducing an absolute shit ton of nobles into a room, giving them all backstories, but then trying to think of how all these interlinks go, and who's going to be shagging who's going to be conspiring with them, who's causing a threat to this part of the family, and how do we make this a political mess for you guys to go and try and unpick and navigate through. And then at the end, just make it somebody who's not important.
Any of that. Yeah.
In the moment, like, has nothing to do with the politics.
So yeah, we do eventually end up finding, sifting through the mud to find the individual. Sniffing through, very much so. Getting through and finding the individual who did unfortunately murder someone at the ball. We also, in the chaos, then we kind of eventually twigged that Cavan and Mara had left, we believed, for their safety. And again, that took us down a path later, because we found that not to be the case. But it did lead us with the ability of us being able to, find all of the endless trails, find this person and take them down. Only for us to then decide, right, we need to go home. And outside the ball, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. The party was jumped on by some individuals. I don't know how many, but I'm guessing 3, of the Serpent's Cloak. So unfortunately, Jules' past is following her. And we also unfortunately found Timmy, the messenger boy, who had been placed there by Aegeus. Unfortunately, had also met his end. Both of those things really did trigger the party. Triggered Jewel, but all 3 of us kind of lost our shit at that point.
There's a change in the air, but I think this is also there's a number of things that happen in quick succession here.
Yeah.
You've got Cavan and Mara disappear. That puts everybody on edge.
Yeah.
You have the noble that's the murderer turns out to be in league with Vayne Shadowthorn.
Yeah.
And then you come outside, you're jumped by the Serpent's Cloak, who deal a hefty blow and choose deliberately not to kill you.
Yeah.
And then you find poor little Timmy, who has been strangled to death. And the final note that's left is Cavan and Mara seem to have been bundled into a carriage by some priests and are off. And clearly Timmy's on his way to convey this to Aegeus, meets his end. And so I think there's those 4 things that just cause everyone to go, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking done. We're dealing with this and we're dealing with it now. Which sets you all on a path, ultimately.
It did, and it really was a very interesting end to the episode when... Well, is it end or start? I can't remember. I think it might probably did near the end of the episode. The 3 of us were all a little bloodlust. I say the 3 of us because interestingly, Aegeus for the first time was the one actually being the balance to both Lex and Jewel, and actually wanting to go, guys, this isn't right. And that really again brought a side of Aegeus out that we didn't. We did know. Hello, Raiders! My goodness me!
Oh shit, the bed. Thank you again. Roll together. It's amazing to have you all here. Yes, I think you've all joined us. We are doing a little bit of a campaign to recap, just because we've got a few people out. We have some tech problems in the background as well, so poor Danny can't be with us. But thank you for joining us. We are just recapping our last few episodes as we speak right now, talking about the Masquerade War, which I think you all raided us for at the end as well, so I appreciate you joining us, and sort of how that worked out. And we were just about to dive into sort of our last 2 episodes that we've gone through, in terms of... Yeah, little bit of bloodlust there, Dave. Little bit of bloodlust.
Yeah, we were very much in the bloodlust. So, but again, it was very interesting the way that Aegeus was the one who was actually going to stop us for a change, being the other side of that coin, because otherwise we were just going in total guns blazing. So that was again very interesting, and especially more interesting when we then met up back with Cavan, that we were all just wanting to just let him off like a loose cannon. Definitely showing that there is more going on in the background, and like I was saying earlier, with what happened to Jewel, she seems okay, but it may well be a cover. So this bloodlust is coming from something that has definitely not shown up before. Seeing again the way that Cavan and Mara got out of their imprisonment, which happened in episode 56.
It did?
Was again awesome. I mean, I honestly remember being in the background, and I seriously, I just wanted popcorn. I was sitting there just watching the whole thing, and it was truly amazing. Again, the way that Tom portrays Cavan, his RP is just absolutely fantastic. Showing the vulnerable side to a barbarian is something that I have to say is quite impressive.
I think that's probably why Cavan is so lovable as a barbarian. Like, we've had Bothrid, the lovable, bumbling idiot barbarian.
Yes,
and now you've got Cavan, who is just so many layers of human emotion. And then, dumped into a dungeon with the woman who could well be the one love of his life. And they have to figure out this. That is the episode where it goes from sexual tension to full-on love story. Like, there's one moment where I think we clipped it as well. I think I call it Cavan Gets the Feels, where Mara just cuts off the bottom of her skirt, puts her heels in her hand, and says, "Let's get the fuck on with this."
Yeah.
And he's just there like, I am so in love with this woman right now. This, like, chips are all in. Like, we're in.
I think that, when maybe this is just me, but I'm guessing I'm not going to be the only one, that if you're going to RP a barbarian, it's usually that they have either are not a control on their emotions, or that they are emotionally stunted. Maybe they just can't deal with their emotions as an option. That's many ways in which a barbarian can be played. For it to be that they have been locked, their emotions have been locked away, a layer under a layer under a layer, is the way that Cavan is playing it. Tom's playing it, if I believe. And so
it's also PTSD based.
Yes.
Because it's triggered by all the things that are done to him when he's in this orphanage run by these so-called priests of Paragon, which we've only vaguely touched on. And then I think we hit on it last episode where I said to him, you've seen this door before. This is where your rage hit for the first time. This is where you got everybody out. You went no further, so you don't understand what's beyond this door. And it's that he's a barbarian, but and this is why I liked the change we made 5-6 episodes again at the end of the Stonebark arc, where we changed Cavan's subclass to Path of the Zealot. Because it came actually that rage is fueled not only by that PTSD element and the trauma, but also by the fact that you've got a god on your side that is not happy with what these priests have been doing. So Tom's rage and portrayal of a barbarian super interesting, because you're right, most people that play barbarians are I just want to walk in here and hit everything. I don't care whether it's living, breathing, small, big, intelligent, important, I'm just going to hit it. And we've seen that. It's good for comedy. There's only so many layers of RP you can get out of that.
But it's interesting you say that, and obviously to a degree that's kind of what he did in his last episode, but he didn't, because in the last episode when he was in the fight, we were all just like shocked in the way that like Cavan at one point left his axe somewhere else, and I will point out that was in the middle of a dead priest, which was awesome. But he left it there because he was going to go to this next priest, and this was like this full Path of the Zealot thing, and headbutt him to death. It's like, that really shows some cathartic emotion coming out.
This is the way I see this arc playing out, is it's Cavan's therapy session. But it's a rage room. Like, it's the definition of a rage room. I'm just going to put things in his way that he can just hack, smash, slash. But I think that's the point. So we had that escape from the dungeon and get Mara out. You head back to the Jarl's Hearth Inn. And there's that moment where the fucking chariot comes down the hill and bye.
That was an amazing perception check that they just screamed.
Passive perception of fuck all in that moment. But you all pile back into the carriage and sort of have a heart-to-heart, and you see Mara and Cavan both looking a little bit dirty there and wondering what the hell's gone on. Says the breakdown of, we've been kidnapped and we've escaped, and then you on the flip side say, we got ambushed but lived. Oh, and by the way, Timmy's dead. Timmy died. Collateral damage. Timmy was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you see everybody in that moment just go, nah, get your shit on, we're going.
To know that these guys need to be stopped. And again, this is by no means, like, I think we've all said it, by no means the biggest bad here, by no means the first and most pressing thing to the city. Like, this is something that's just been going on and will continue to go on until we decide that we're going to put our foot down. So we have 100% dropped the ball on other more important stuff for one night because this shit needs dealing with. It's one of those ones that, if it wasn't for that catalyst, we would have gone, oh, that's terrible. We have more important things to do. So, no, very, very, very interesting dynamic as to why we're going and how. And obviously the the emotional state of each of the individuals is very different. Again, Aegeus is actually keeping himself fairly kept together, and I think also so is Lex. I think he's probably, in fact, he's still, however, letting the angry out. We saw some clips from last week.
See, I don't even know if it's angry, because I think there's the moment where Lex steps in between two priests and just twin spell shocking grasps the shit out of their brains, just claps them by the head. But if I think, or if I try and put myself in Danny's shoes and then go, what's the logical thing to do in this moment? I've got all of these enemies around me and I need to put them down as quick as possible. I need to incapacitate them. Yeah, fuck it, let's shock the brains. Yeah. And there's two of them, so let's twin spell that. So he just steps into the middle. Great, what's next? You lot, lightning bolt.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a calm, just desire to have this done. Maybe that is a better way
I'm not sure what's scarier.
Exactly, but that's why I think that, as you say, maybe that is more what Lex is doing right now. That calm determination. That's what I'm thinking of. Where he's just like, yeah. Which, as you say, which one is scarier? It's got some legs on it. That one has.
Indeed. I mean, you were all pretty scary in the last episode. Discovering this whole cathedral, underground cathedral, beneath the so-called Church of Paragon, which is the church of Cavan's deity. We should also point out that Cavan's taken a level in Paladin at this point as well.
Yes. Now,
so he's fully committed to the god.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually know that he'd made that change to the Zealot. Or if I had forgotten it. I think that was a great bit, but to actually then take that level in Paladin is 100% apt. It was also very interesting that I got the chance to get Jewel to ask Cavan, like, hang on a minute, we're here for priests and they're following your god. So have we not got a conflict of interest? Is this a misunderstanding? To then get the, oh no, they are using this as a front, was again more of the, do I need any more evidence as to why we're doing the right thing here? Very, very interesting again to have that.
There's a lot to discover in this cathedral as well.
Yes, and I know that there's so much more for us to follow and find, which does lead me on to, yes, our first fight was predominantly pretty easy, very easy, in fact. And again, I even said it. I don't know. I think I may have said it after we were, off stream, so to speak, saying thank you to you, Matt, because there's very rare do we get a high number of low HP, low class enemies. Do not underestimate that ever, guys. In your D&D games, you can be swarmed by low level creatures. However, when it goes your way and you can just pop them off each one, you get a satisfaction you don't get from a bigger bad. I wouldn't say the big bad, that is very satisfying, but certainly the satisfaction of just mowing down these people in this room was very cathartic for probably more than just Cavan and Tom.
Does become a bit of a game of resource management though,
which is why it was very interesting that we got to the end of that episode and there were some oh shit moments when, yes, a lot of spells have been spaffed. There were a few oh shit moments. And we're now realising that we have got a lot of other things to do. So, again,
because I think
why that's so great. That it's not just an easy, go 10-pin bowling sort of thing. No, we're now in trouble.
Yeah, because you've not long rested since the ball, I should point out. Yep. So you guys have come straight from the ball. You've been shanked by the serpent's cloak. Yep. Been trapped in a dungeon for some of you. You've all got home, donned your kit, and gone, no, we're going in. And the first room you enter, realistically, first big room is just filled with enemies that, yes, you dispatch pretty quickly, apart from one that you do choose to question, and that's where we'll go next session. but you've got this room full of enemies where you've just hacked, slashed, headbutted, choked, electrocuted, lightning bolted, misty stepped and stabbed. There was a whole cacophony of different skills, checks, spells, actions, reactions, and all sorts of crazy shit that happened in that room, only for you to then realise there's 3 exits out of this room, not including the one we've just come through.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. We have
So
definitely kicked open the hornet's nest. And we're tied. So
I think I said to you last week as well, this is potentially a dungeon crawl as well.
Yeah.
As being into which I did reveal the name of last week.
You know, well, I say everyone.
We do indeed.
We do, and I know that a lot.
Most people love dungeon crawl.
Yes, so very much.
So there's some goodies to find.
Yeah, it will be good.
In the Cathedral of Sin, which I think I called out last week. But just going back to your point around this is a front. We still don't know what it's a front for. The only thing you've been shown is this effigy of a quite alluring, almost tiefling devil-like individual with these outspread wings, very feminine in nature, who is now whispering in Jules' head after Jewel made a rudimentary blood offering.
That happened.
It did indeed. But I like that you got called out for it in game as well by everyone. Like Jules just then slice the palm, drop some blood. What the fuck are you doing? Why? Should we talk about this first? No, Jules just fucking doing it. So total opposite of campaign 1, where we'd have probably debated that for 25 minutes as a party. Do we, don't we? Should we find some other way? Should we just try and knock the door down? No, fuck it, Jules straight in, a few drops of blood. You get told, a little bit barbaric, but yeah, why not?
Totally, and again, very interesting, because it's like you just said, if we were the Planar Detective Agency on a normal mission, on a normal quest for them, then I'm sure that they would have had a conversation as to how we can get about this. As we've discussed, this mini arc, this little dungeon crawl, is going to be 100% not that. We are on a very unspoken mission for Cavern, but also for the rest of them, I think. I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to get. As you say, hopefully we're going to, be able to find some stuff, some information. This not just be a bloodbath. And we're also one of the other reasons why our party wanted to go and do this straight away was we knew that the city guards are going to be on their way as well, and we just knew it was going to get very muddy, very, very difficult if they were going to get there first. So we want to be this, the tip of the spear for this particular takedown.
Very much so. Very much so. So, I mean, we sort of start to come to the end of the recap then, I think, there. Yeah. So, yes, there was 10 or so episodes where it feels like plot-wise, not a huge deal has happened if we think about it in the way we've just recapped that in, an hour and a half. But still, so much has happened. You've had closing the planar portal in Stonebark Village, even, and losing a potential ally to the Shadowfell, not knowing where they are, the death of Mayanora.
I was going to say, losing one to the Shadowfell, losing one to death, losing one technically, as in one leaving us to stay there.
So I wouldn't say you've lost an ally there, it's just more they realise they are going to be better suited to stay behind right now, so Mace is staying behind.
Also, I will just point out, that I've just thought about it, Mace in any of the bits afterwards, I don't know how that would have worked. Like, how is any of that gonna work? So
a big matter-of-fact, warforged paladin stood in the middle of a masquerade ball.
With like
you did
a
what
bow
to that?
tie.
Boof.
Yeah, basically just a bow tie, and that's it. And as you say, just just crashing into the waiters and waitresses, and just like sorry, so just perfect that actually he stayed behind.
yeah, it kind of worked in our favour. So yeah, you've got Mace behind. So yeah, there was a little bit of dilution of the party, so to speak, down to its core. Everybody goes and does their own thing, but goes on their own journey. Lex visits home, Mechanus, to question things that have gone on, question his history. Jules spends time with her family to reconnect, to build a little bit of resilience there in the fact that actually Jules been away, done what she needs to, but has come home and has solved the problem which plagued her when she left.
Yeah.
Or one of the problems. Cavan, who starts to find family. Aegeus, who goes on this slight journey of self-discovery to go and find balance, and then you all come back together in Union City. Aptly named as well. I'm not going to I'm going to throw that out as well. Yeah, I named that well before anything happened roleplay wise. But this whole idea of you coming back together in Union.
Yeah, I mean it's called Union City because, as you say, in the place it is in the map, it's pulling a lot of cultures together. And you've even just said it tonight. It is a tiered city that has a lot of cultures in it. That is why it's called Union City. But no, we have 100% had our own unionizing arc.
Yeah, the idea of unity. So I think, Masquerade Ball, figuring that out, now heading into the Order of the Right Hand, which was supposedly the right hand of Paragon, but who knows what the fuck's down there right now, in this Cathedral of Sin, which is very much not Paragon. Who knows what's going to happen, but these last 10 episodes, I think, have been probably the most interesting in terms of character development.
Yeah.
Like, supercharged amount of role-playing character development for everyone. And I mean everyone. There's been bits where people have sort of dropped in and out, but even then, like, we've accelerated massively in the last 10 episodes around that emotional intelligence for a lot of the characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we actually also totally skipped over one moment when Aegeus did go back to his home. A really pivotal moment for Aegeus. And
we did.
I'm trying to remember. I think Aegeus did tell us.
He did.
He did. So
yeah,
a very interesting, thing for him to do, and obviously again that connection to Klein again. We're all super eager to get back onto that main track, but there are so many things we will want to resolve in Union City before we leave, and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to being in Union City for our streams many weeks to come.
That bit because that's one of my favourite monologues I've ever done personally, being slightly narcissistic there.
No, it was great.
We forgot to talk about it.
No, it was great.
Fantastic.
It was great.
All about the players.
No, but that's the point. Is you had your moment to shine there as well. It was amazing. I remember the entire time that Bodhi was talking about what he was doing, I was frantically finding some new music because I knew exactly where this was going. I honestly had to actually watch back Aegeus's bit, but I truly remember like being, fair play to Bodhi for really tugging on the heartstrings with his piece. It really, and I actually think that may have actually helped really get to see Aegeus more. And as you say, Aegeus is very much that talky guy, saying daft stuff, but we all got to
start to understand why a bit, don't you?
That's it. All of that, the jokiness and all of that is a cover, and to actually see that, I think our characters don't know that as well as we do, but we got to see that and went, oh, okay. Yeah,
Aegeus is the true definition of masking, not just his emotions, but physically as well. Doesn't wear the same skin every every day. Starting to become more comfortable with that, but yes, that's what it's fantastic and really interesting to see how much the campaign, as I say, it sounds cheesy, sounds philosophical, but how much the campaign is just reflecting the human experience and what we have to go through as individuals in our lives. amazing. Never thought that had come out of a D&D campaign, but fuck it, here we are.
No, I never would, but I totally agree with you. Like, pulling back the curtain, I think it's helped me massively. With my work and just general life. Like the fact that we were able to, move into a different space and enact stuff without it having sort of world-changing consequences for our own lives. I think it's amazing. We get to try those things, and yes, it is very we can sort of hit and miss with stuff. We can trial stuff. I know we've said it a few times already, especially in the last episode. It's almost very cathartic on a few occasions where you've got to just get something out. It's been tremendous. Very, very much fun. And that's why the RP is really, I think, as you say,
it is
building more and more every episode and great fun. And yes, love throwing a fight in there, to break it all up as well.
Gotta have a fight in there every now and again.
You've got to. But no, an incredible arc, as you say. Not much has happened, and yet everything has happened.
Indeed, it certainly feels like it. So, I mean, there's sort of three final things, I think, from me, which, just touching on something you said there, which is this idea of what D&D means to us as individuals and playing this game. And I talk about it all the time. Like, I go when I say, look, I'm a true nerd, but I play D&D every Monday. It's one of my favourite things to do. I was talking about it to my father in the pub in the middle of London the other week, and it was a very, very busy pub. As we got up to leave, the person who was sat on the table, because you had to share tables, turned around and said to me, "You said you stream D&D? Like, let us know what it is, and we'll probably come check it out." So I don't know if they're on, but hi if you did, people in the pub. And great to meet you in those moments. But I think it's those little moments where you think, actually, this draws a lot more people together than you think and creates that community. It's one of the things I love about the TTRPG community in general, is that it's really inclusive and really together. You can see that, and the fact that we get raiders from our role together as well, and granted we've had conversations in the background, but just that love and support is amazing. So that to me is what D&D means to me, and I'm sure the rest of the crew would sort of echo some of those thoughts and have their own thoughts as well. Second thing is, because we don't do it enough, is to thank the absolute fuck out of you for keeping all of this together. Because, like, honestly, without Dave, none of this shit works. We would all just be sat in a room talking to ourselves. So the whole stream going live, the sound effects, the musical tracks, the overlays, everything is all Dave. So not everybody is here to sort of celebrate, but I will give you a big round of applause, and hopefully everybody in the chat and everybody watching and listening will equally thank you. And the third thing is a question as we start to close for you. Favourite moment of the last 9 or 10 episodes?
Ooh, I mean, crikey, we have we've clipped many a cracker, I have to say. A very good question, and on the spot, I don't know whether I can truly find one, but to be honest, it would just be any of the points where we are all just totally cracking up. In fact, I'm going to give it just on the spot, and it was when Cavan was Cavan and or Tom was talking about basically a reach around. He didn't mean that, but we all took it that way, and we all lost it. I love that we can go from it being an incredibly serious moment and all playing it seriously to all forcibly break that with humour. It happens many occasions. I loved even Edgius's little, that we've just talked about, him going back to his home. That bit with what he was doing and your monologue, again, that finding the music for it, setting it in, getting to then watch in the background. I've done a lot of lighting and sound theatre work in my time, in my past, and to be able to do that essentially live with this show, this performance that we put on, was absolutely fantastic. Loved every second. But yes, those other moments when there's all 5 of us absolutely howling is why I come on a Monday night.
Absolutely, and I think we said we were closing, but we are going to have to stay on for a little bit longer, because the bit you're talking about where Tom says the reach around, and we all sort of go, now is not the time for reach, I think is from Orbital Blues, actually. I can't remember.
You may be right.
But we do need to touch on Orbital Blues.
We do, absolutely.
Because one episode in,
but
what an episode. And hats off to Bodhi, like I said at the end of the episode, cracking episode. For anybody that's not played Orbital Blues, it's a hard introduction into the game, but fucking brilliant introduction into the game. So,
again, from someone, I mean, so we all started playing D&D brand new. I've not played anything else. I've only played D&D for the past 4 years, not played any of the mechanics, but we have slowly come from we're jumping from fight to fight in a D&D fashion, and sort of occasionally RPing a shop interaction, to us being very heavily RP as a group. Definitely helped, because Orbital Blues is very RP heavy.
Oh yes.
I was very nervous, very, very nervous, and really wasn't sure like how I was going to get on with it. Really didn't know. Really had no idea if it was going to be something that I would struggle with or not. But I think that again, along with Bodhi's masterful GMing of it, we all felt pretty comfortable pretty quickly, and all were having a riot with our own freeform characters in a world that we had all also got chance to kind of have an opportunity to build upon, discuss what we were, where we'd all come from, and to also have no idea where it's going to start and where it's going to end. Brilliant. Loved every second.
Yeah, indeed. It's alright. I'm just going to because I've got that moment where I'm like, what's that reach around moment?
I've no idea.
It might be from D&D.
It is great because they all just blur into.
They do blur into one.
Into one. But yes, it has been just our first episode. I hope that people have enjoyed it, and I hope and enjoy our Orbital Blues mini series. It has the ability to reach a point where it closes off, or we also sort of carry it on. We're one episode in,
and we don't all die in a blaze of glory based on that first episode. We've done something seriously wrong.
Well, that is true. To be fair, there is.
You look at how we are in D&D, and then all of us just went no for Orbital Blues. Like everybody's just a total chaotic wanker in Orbital Blues. So fantastic. I had the big problem. I was equally nervous because not being in the DM's chair, and we've only done it a couple of times on stream. One of the biggest things for me is because I spend so much time talking and world building as a DM. As much as I try and give everybody space, there's a lot on me as a DM to make sure those descriptions are out. So in that moment where you sat there as a player, it's like, do I talk now?
So this is one of the things that I found, and we definitely have. It's definitely much harder, the fact that we stream remotely. And of course we would love to all be in one room together, but practically speaking, this is the only way we can do it on a weekly basis. That it's not taking the limelight. Now, sometimes some arcs require you to for periods of time, but we always want to be able to provide that opportunity for all of us to be able to have our moment every episode. That those times to go, I need to shut up now. I think we all feel, because maybe we all feel it and we don't need to feel it. But there are definitely times when we're like, okay, I need to take a back seat. And yes, there are other times when we also know that we have got to drive this. This is our piece. This is our arc. And so that falls onto every character. When we're all in a place where we don't, then sometimes you have the opportunity, or sometimes the risk of cartwheeling, of spinning in place, where no one's taking control, no one's taking responsibility, and we all just all definitely trying to bugger off in different directions. And so sometimes it does require one of us to then take charge and go, no, this is what we're going to do. What's nice is that can be any one of us at any time, and that again included ourselves in Orbital Blues, and yeah, loved it.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. It was great. I think because we've played that much D&D, it's great to step into a totally different setting as well. It's not like we just went into another D&D one-shot, which is what we've done in the past. This was something totally different. Completely different.
Yeah,
completely different rule set, mechanics.
Yeah. The bit that really that I think flipped in my head is to me, and it was fairly early on in the episode when I was like, I'm nervous about this, but I'm going to give it a go. And that was when I was like, my character was called Jesse. Can Jesse take this incredibly mental long distance shot? And also the fact that it wasn't basically he had to shoot a sniper who was up on the ridge, and I was also able to go. Not only do I want to do that, I want to fire next to and hit his motorbike and blow that up instead. And the fact that Orbital Blues lets you go, sure, see how it goes, was freeing, was nerve-wracking to be like, I need to be thinking about this and what do I want to do and what's going to happen. But the fact that you have that with that, yes, success or fail option, but otherwise you get to decide was, as I say, very freeing, very nerve-wracking, especially in the high rule set of D&D, so to speak. But great fun.
Yeah, and I think it's a rule set that allows for that more freedom.
Yep.
I mean, you could just see in the way, and this is probably a testament to Bodhi as well, the way in which he rewarded those moments where you were super descriptive.
Yeah.
Like that moment where you went, can I just blow the fuck out of this guy across the room?
Yeah.
Sorry, shoot the guy.
yeah.
But yeah, I had the moment of, yeah, okay, I've dealt with some military things in the past. That's going to create quite a noise, so fingers in the ears. But it's those moments where you then describe it, and the same with Tom and and Danny's character with the cyborg, with the android, and bits like that. So I'm looking forward to that next episode of Orbital Blues as well, which is coming up. I don't know if folks saw on social media this past week, but we've updated our schedule for the coming weeks. So I think we've got 2 or 3 episodes of Campaign 2 coming up, and then we are into the next episode of Orbital Blues as well. So if you enjoyed the first session, go check that out, mark your calendars, because that will be episode 2 as we deal with how the fuck we even start to get this artificial intelligence android boy across the block and to the central point of Mars Cinco, which is the bloody sky dock or the air dock. Not a clue how we're even going to try to do that. That'll be fun.
I love the fact that I am both as jazzed of our next episode of Orbital Blues as well as our next episode of Campaign 2 in D&D. I want to get to both of them as quickly as possible.
Well, I think, and we were planning some of this last week around.
We were.
Because a few members of the cast will be in and out over the next few weeks, and probably the next few months as well, as we go into the summer months and holidays come up, and work for some folks sorts of increases with event season and all of the sorts of stuff that goes on. So we will continue to stream every Monday. You'll see different faces here or there. We might get some guest stars here or there. But yes, there will be a lot of content to come. With Campaign 2, we have an arc to wrap up with Cavern ultimately, so we're going to see a lot more of Tom's development, I think, as a character. But it's going to be interesting, and what a last 10 episodes. I feel like, we hit a hockey stick a little bit and really ramped up everything up. The role play, the tension, the stakes, everything seems to have got higher. We leveled up as well, which is pretty cool. Yes. So it's going to be an interesting few months to see what happens as we sort of roll into almost the 4th anniversary as well, which will be September time. So 4 years of streaming. So what a recap. Do you want to do you want to take it away then, Dave, and wrap things up for the evening?
Oh, go on then. Place on me while I'm trying to wrestle my cat, who's currently on my desk.
I noticed you've been trying to deal with the live tabaxi in your room.
Yes, this little one here who is currently trying to run around. Anyway, yes, thank you ever so much, everyone, for tuning in to our recap. I hope it's helped you. We do these recaps so that you can follow along. We know that sometimes it's difficult to catch up with us, so these are hopefully great for you to be able to keep up with if you have missed anything. Of course, if you do have any questions for our recaps, do ask us anytime in our Discord. Join our Discord, I'll say it right, and you'll get loads of other features, but yes, also the opportunity to ask us questions about these. You can also leave them in the comment in a video, whatever you like. We look forward to seeing you every Monday night on Twitch and YouTube, live streams to both of them at the same time. We look forward to seeing you next week, which will be, like we said, I think that's going to be our campaign 2 D&D, I believe. So
it is going to be episode 58.
So yes, look forward to an awesome dungeon crawl. I really hope that is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, so we shall see you then, and see you on Monday.